Well, thank you, Daniel, for talking to us here at Turning Point Academy about what you do, but
Of
also about
course.
the importance of education. So, can you tell us a little bit about the nonprofit that you started?
Well, yes, my nonprofit Patriot Kids Foundation. What we do is try to reinstall the love for kids in our founding history, our founding documents, founding fathers, everything that makes America so different, so great, so exceptional, and not exceptional from the part of arrogance, but exceptional from the part of exception of the rule. We are different from every other country in the world because our founding fathers planted a seed in the Declaration of Independence, which was that our rights come from God and that no one can touch that. And we're the only nation practically that does that and acknowledges that, and that's why we are so different in the world.
Yeah, so you're quite young. How in the world did you get to start a nonprofit on this?
Well, I'm actually 13 years old, and I actually started when I was 7 years old. Started seeing a huge rejection from kids in my schools to our founding documents, our patriotic symbols. They would start making fun of a flag when we were doing the Pledge of Allegiance or the Star Spangled Banner. So it was really sad to see all of that, and then I started talking with my parents. We're like, we have to do something. Because my parents come from Cuba, they really know what the dangers of communism really represents. And we've always been worried about what can happen to this country if we let it get out of our hands and get off the tracks that our founding fathers dreamed for it. So what we just wanted to do is create a foundation or something that could really make sure that we can ensure that children really respect and admire this nation and its history and its founding fathers.
Yeah, absolutely. So, what made you love the Constitution so much, and why do kids need to learn about it?
Not so much the Constitution as what our founding fathers did in it. I always say the Constitution is nothing without the Declaration of Independence, because the Declaration of Independence says why we are going to govern ourselves. That's something. Two things that our children should learn very good are that what the Declaration means and what the Constitution means, which is how we are going to govern ourselves. And it is something that every children should learn because that is why these two documents can't be separated. A lot of people think, oh, well, the Declaration of Independence is just, why we are going to separate from Great Britain. It doesn't work for anything. It's just in that moment. No, the Declaration of Independence will always live as long as it can because it has timeless principles. Because those principles were based on the Bible, the Ten Commandments, God. And it was something very important that our founding fathers made sure that it would last for very long.
So it's so inspiring that you care so much about this. Why do you think kids your age don't care as much about our founding documents?
It's because the schools have been completely separated from this. They know it perfectly, but they just don't want to teach it that behind these documents is the only way to be free. Because these documents teach us everything we need to know to keep this nation lasting long. And sadly, many administrations have not wanted that and have not wanted to make sure that this nation lasts longer than it should. And that's what our founding fathers always dreamed of. It's already been almost 230 years that we have the Declaration of Independence, and then the United States is such an amazing nation. And we have to keep that. And, the founding fathers' dream was, as long as humanity allows it, as God allows it.
Yeah, and it's so important that Americans know our history so that we are aware of what we were founded on and that we can preserve those values.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. So we at Turning Point Academy think it's so important for us to teach kids the true history, but also to explore some of the other great books that are often not necessarily talked about in schools anymore. So what other subjects have you been interested in now that you have dived into our history?
Our founding fathers were very religious men, and I think that religion is one of the most important things that a man can have in his life, that be man or woman, because that is the only way to make sure that government can't act as God. Because if we believe in a God, if we believe in a supreme, then that is the only way that government can't act as God and give us our rights or take away our rights. Because that is the duty of God. And to judge us, because that's that's the things that God does. And government can't do that.
Yeah, absolutely. So we focus, of course, largely on education. So in your opinion, what is the purpose of education?
I'll give you the exact quote that founding father Dr. Benjamin Rush, signer of the Declaration of Independence, said. The purpose of public education is to, first of all, teach children to love and respect God, love and respect our country, love and respect our family, in that order. Why? Well, because if you don't have God in your life, like always George Washington said, you can't be a patriot. If you're not a patriot, your country's destroyed. And how in many communist countries that always happens, when your country's destroyed, it becomes the worst enemy of your family.
So thank you for sharing that wonderful insight. Our Educator Summit, we host teachers, school board members, education activists each year to hear what is happening in education and inspire them to really make change and bring us back to our core values. So this year's Educator Summit is going to be July 10 through 13, and it's on the topic of Make Education Great Again, Returning to Our Purpose. In your opinion, how do we make education great again in our country?
It is really easy. Yes, return the Bible, the Ten Commandments, the morals and virtues of God and of religion back into our schools. As it was before 1962, where government said, no more. It's discriminating others that don't believe it. Well, it always has been optional in school. And I was talking in an interview, I believe that it's better if it's a opt-out than an opt-in. Because it already is there, but if the parents don't want it, you can just take it out.
Yeah, I think that's a wonderful strategy.
Yeah.
Wow. So do you have any last words of advice to your fellow students or patriots here on why they need to be aware of our founding documents?
Not actually why to be aware, but how we can make this nation last longer. So what we have to do is something I call the 3T formula. That is, find the truth, love the truth, and defend the truth. That is the only way that our founding fathers believed that we can make this nation long-lasting. And it's the only thing we can do to make sure that government can never lie to us, treat us wrong, or anything like that.
Well, thank you so much for your time and sharing
you.
a little bit about your ministry.
Thank you.